Greg Pruett here with Gun News Now and also the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance. I live here in the great state of Idaho where, there's, I think I've said this a lot of times over the years that there's no such thing as a place that you can go where bad people aren't going to be. That includes Idaho. And as we've seen today, there has been a shooting in and or around the brand new In-N-Out burger restaurant that I think has only been open for a week, if I remember. For those that don't know me, I have ran the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance for since 2012, coming up on 14 years here. And our organization has been at the forefront of most of the big gun laws that have been passed since then, including constitutional carry. And, Idaho, for those that don't know, is changing. It's changed dramatically since we started the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance back in the day. It's one of the most popular states for people to move to. If you talk to people that have been here, there's way too many people now. It's just the population has exploded for people leaving these liberal hellholes like California, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, and they're trying to come to a place like Idaho or Wyoming or somewhere where there's a lot more liberties and a lot more freedoms. But with growth tends to come, bad things happening. And that is the tragedy that has happened here in Idaho today. Police do say or are saying that the suspected shooter is down and deceased. Okay. So the guy has been killed. Now, as far as I can tell, and unless somebody can put it in the comments for me, I've been scrubbing social media trying to see if his name is out there, the suspected shooter. I've seen some reports of his name, but these are from like accounts with like 50 people on Twitter. Okay. So I'm not about to say what that is. There's also, to my knowledge, no motive, no anything. What we can see so far from the videos that have been posted, there's two primary videos running around on X, and I'm looking over at Twitter trying to scroll and look for stuff at the same time. Okay, the first one is of what looks like the suspected shooter firing into a Tesla. Okay, there is a Tesla and fires. It looks like I can count. I think 5. It looks like five rounds into four or 5 rounds into this Tesla. I don't know the status of. I assume there was people in there. You hope not. The rumors I have heard is that there was a couple in that Tesla. And then other than that, that's one main video. Then there's another video of what appears to be, and we don't know for sure. And if somebody has actual details that you can send me and give me on the, we're going to call it the good guy with a gun. Okay. The good guy with a gun is what it looks like. Okay. And if it is, then God bless him for having the courage to go and try to take down this suspected gunman, because he takes fire. Okay, so in this other video, you can see somebody with a pistol, and it also looks like a suppressor. And we'll get to the suppressor conversation here in just a minute. But he starts firing, rounds start coming back, and I'm hoping I'm right in that he kind of jumps into some bushes. Now, some people I talk to say that they believe he might have got hit. I'm watching it again right now. He definitely ducks and kind of falls, and it looks like he keeps moving through the bushes. So I don't think he got hit. I'm praying he didn't get hit if this is a good guy with a gun. That's what it looks like. It also looks like a fairly tall individual too. Again, don't know who it is. Hopefully somebody knows and can get us a name, and hopefully he's okay. If he was shooting at the suspected gunman. Absolutely heroic. Okay, I don't care who you are. When you put yourself in that situation, that's just straight up bravery there. So let's see. Anyway, I was just trying to see if somebody had. Somebody's commenting saying liberal hellhole. Yeah, sorry, that is it. Look, somebody's talking about Donald Trump in the comments, and I'm like, Trump's not a gun guy. And if you followed me for a really long time, you know I'm not a fan of Donald Trump's gun policies whatsoever. So he's been a very liberal on guns for a long time. And anyway, setting all that aside, so I really hope that guy is okay. The police say that the suspected gunman is down, but they have not said that the good guy with a gun take him out. Did the guy kill himself, or did police respond and take him out? One thing that's I guess frustrating is we live in a state where pretty much everybody can carry. Okay. And the bad guys, people like that, he that did this shooting, he clearly doesn't care about the law. Okay. That's why they're criminals. They don't care. You're your own first responder. Okay. That's it. The police are not going to get there in time. That's why I'd almost be surprised if this guy didn't kill himself or wasn't killed by the good guy with the gun, because by the time the cops got there, it was probably over. I could be wrong, and it's possible that the police, shot and killed the guy. But at the end of the day, you're there for the protection of your family, and nobody else is going to do it for you. As the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, has said, the cops have no legal obligation to protect you, none whatsoever. So that's why you see these shootings that take place in, like at the school in Florida, and the cops just sat outside and didn't do anything. The Supreme Court has essentially said, "Yep, there's no legal obligation that the cops have to put themselves." And I'm not saying there's a lot of cops that won't do that. I'm just saying at the end of the day, if you don't have your gun, there's all these people getting cell phone footage. And don't get me wrong, if this is a good guy with a gun, then I'm happy that there's some footage of him actually, doing what has to be done and trying to take this guy on. But I don't know. Yeah, so I did want to touch on the suppressor thing, because at least from the one video that is circulating, it looks like he has a suppressor on there, and everybody said that seems fishy, because who the heck carries a suppressor on their sidearm? And what I'll say is this: I don't know anyone that carries a suppressor or has a suppressor on their sidearm that's walking around with it like that. Okay, because that would be fairly annoying and uncomfortable and just really awkward. But I would not be surprised if there's a lot of people who don't have suppressors on their sidearms if it's a sidearm that they just keep in their car. So that's possible that he had it there. Maybe it was a freak coincidence and he was at the gun range or doing something and just happened to have his suppressor on. Yeah, I don't know. Again, hopefully the guy's alive, and hopefully, I'd love to interview him and talk to him about what, this whole thing. Like, that's just a crazy, crazy, crazy story. All right, so I'm just trying to, I'm just not seeing, I've seen some names of the suspect, but again, none from any kind, and I'm not even saying these to come from NBC News or something like that. It's accounts with like 50 people on X, and way too often in these incidents, people just start dumping pictures and videos and all this stuff. And with the advent of AI, it's even more scary, because you're just like, is this real or is it not real? Because pretty soon you're not going to be able to tell the difference. Somebody will say, there's a shooting in some town, and they'll just have some AI video and you won't know the difference because it'll look so real. I did talk to, there's a guy in Idaho named Shane Class. He's lives in Twin Falls. just getting ready to move out, actually. And he's a political activist, a conservative. He told me that one of the people that was shot was his cousin. And he said his cousin was riding his motorcycle from, I don't know, one place to another place, and in really bad timing, or I don't know if he was targeted, but he was riding his motorcycle, and I guess his arm all of a sudden let go of the handle. And he didn't quite know what had happened at first. And then, looks down and is like, oh crap, I think I've been shot. And so he lays his bike down, and his friends who were in a car next to him or behind him or whatever are like, what are you doing? He goes, I think I got shot. And he's just bleeding everywhere. And they're like, get in the car. We got to go to the hospital. And he didn't want to bleed in his friend's car. And they're like, no, it's fine. Like, get in. We got to go. And so his cousin is in the hospital from a bullet that hit him in that area. And again, I don't know if he was a target and the guy was shooting at him or shooting at something else and just had like the worst luck out there. So yeah, see, somebody said there's a lot of images circulating that were upscaled by AI, and that's why at first, the suspected shooter's picture was out there, and I'm like, well, look, let's make sure it's the right guy first of all, and then, if it is the right guy, then we can, we could share it. That's not a big deal. It's just with AI and with everything else, inevitably all sorts of fake or altered stuff comes out from these instances. Somebody also asked about a shirt that he is wearing in this picture, and I can't tell what the shirt is, but the rumor is that the shirt came from Guns and Gear here in Idaho Falls. So Idaho Falls, there's a gun shop. It's a great gun shop called Guns and Gear. I don't know if that's true. Somebody posted a picture of it and said it does come from that particular shop. The shirt, whatever shirt he's wearing, I can't even read it, honestly, with my crappy eyesight. But okay, so yeah, somebody said that he doesn't have a pistol. He has a rifle. I don't think he had a rifle. I could be wrong. That's why in these situations, it doesn't look like a rifle. The alleged good guy with the gun. It looks like a handgun with a suppressor on it, but I could be wrong. Again, the video's from forever, a long distance away. Okay, so somebody asked about the multiple shooters thing. Okay, so here's, if you've followed these mass shooting incidents or whatever for a long time, it's it's frustrating because you will, if you go back and you listen to and you watch the social media feeds or you listen to even the police scanners at times, there have been reports that there were 1 to 3 shooters in this Twin Falls incident. Okay, 1 to 3 shooters. Now, the police said that the suspected shooter, not plural, was deceased. Okay, so and in every single instance, it is exactly like this. We hear multiple shooters, and then by the time the cops do the press release or the press conference, we're down to just 1 shooter. To my knowledge, there is only 1 that at least the police have said were there. Now, it's possible, okay, with the good guy who has a gun, that if you didn't know any better necessarily, and all you looked out and you just saw some guy shooting, you may think that he's the shooter. Okay, so there could be some reports that put him as the shooter, even though he was, potentially a good guy with a gun, that they are identifying him as an additional shooter when he was just trying to stop, apparently, the bad guy. So, but in talking to Shane, he also said that he had heard that there were multiple shooters, or another incident a little ways from Twin Falls. I want to say this is about 10 minutes away, there's a famous gas station called everybody calls it the Garden of Eden, okay? And it literally has like this waterfall thing that's and a snake inside. It's like the Garden of Eden. It's called the Traveler's Oasis, and it's about 10 minutes away from the Twin Falls exit. And there was allegedly something that happened right around the same time or right after this happened near there. But again, that was just a rumor. That's what Shane had mentioned, that there was another suspected shooter and that there was maybe another one at another store in Twin Falls. And so I don't know if there were some other incidents that happened coincidentally at the same time or if it's just rumors. Not really sure. If somebody in the comments has have something additional, let me know about that, because I hadn't seen that. Yeah. So let's see. Okay. So yeah. I'm watching this video. I've watched it a couple dozen times. The guy who has the gun that kind of jumps in the bushes. I can't. It could be a rifle, but I would still place my bet on it being a handgun. The way he's holding it, the grip he has, like everything about that screams handgun. The only rifle I've seen in any pictures or videos was the guy who was shooting up the Tesla. But other than that, I haven't seen anything. So, and I've also seen this, and I'm not going to say, yeah, that's, I don't know. Maybe I can upload this particular picture. It's definitely interesting here. I'll upload this picture that somebody kind of zoomed in a little bit on the guy that did the shooting, or not the alleged bad guy, a different guy. Somebody said that the good guy with a gun or whatever, has a cowboy hat on. I don't think that's a cowboy hat. It looks like a baseball cap. Here, I'll upload this real quick. Just this picture. YouTube will probably get mad at me, but whatever. Let's see. Okay, give me one sec here, because it's hard. It is hard to see. I'll give you that. It is hard to tell, and it's definitely got. I mean, I just can't. Here, let's see if it's okay. Here's the. Okay, that's about as close of a shot as I can see. Like, I mean, if I'm being honest, even looking at that picture, it looks weird. It's a strange, and again, it's so grainy. It's like, how do we like? This isn't any better than half the Bigfoot freaking videos and pictures that people post with the modern cameras that we have. It's like, come on. Anyway, that's the closest picture I can see to it. That just doesn't look like a rifle to me. It looks like a pistol with a suppressor, if I'm being honest. But I could be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. All right. Let's see. Yeah, on the Guns and Gear shirt, I don't know. Like, that's just what somebody had said, is that the shirt looks like it's one that they have at Guns and Gear, and I don't know if that's true or not. For those that aren't from Idaho, by the way, we are a constitutional carry state. You do not have to have a permit to carry a firearm. Anyone 18 and older, from anywhere in the country, can just a sec. Can carry a firearm without government permission. And no, nothing changes for us here in Idaho. What should change is that more people should be carrying. Less cell phones, okay, less cell phone shooting, and more good guys carrying firearms to stop stuff like this. There has been a few people that are starting to say that this was a targeted incident. That's possible, I guess. Did he go to target one person? But the thing is like there's multiple people that are dead. So, um, and from my knowledge, I had heard that there was one that was shot inside, in and out, and then someone in the Tesla that was also, well, two people in the Tesla were allegedly shot, uh, and one is allegedly deceased. So the targeted shooting, like, let's say this guy's girlfriend or something worked at In and Out, and he went and shot her, and then that was it. Then that would be one thing. But he injured a number of people and shot and killed a number of others, and so I don't know if it was a targeted shooting or not. And it could have been something similar to the Seattle shooting that just happened, where that was an alleged gang on gang hit, but other people got caught, in the crossfire or whatever. So that is a possibility as well. Yeah, again, if you guys know, you want to see my, sorry, one sec, take that off there. My bad. I was still trying to debate on whether I like that looks like a handgun to me, but who knows? Hey Jeffrey, did you tag me on Facebook? So somebody's saying they tagged me on Facebook on a video, another rifle video. So because I've only seen two. Give me one sec. The switch. For those of you guys watching, if you're on the Facebook, you can. I've been putting out a lot of stories on Gun News Now, national stories, especially self-defense stories. So be sure to subscribe to the Gun News Now YouTube channel. I'm going to try and do some more live feed stuff. Okay, so somebody said tag me. No. Yeah, Jeff, if you Jeffrey Porter, maybe you can send me it on maybe you can send it to me on a message on Facebook, because it says I have a whole bunch. Oh wait, never mind. Give me one sec. Okay, so yeah, I found it, Jeff. Never mind. Yeah, that's just the alleged shooter shooting at the Tesla that has a rifle. So I've seen that video. I think everybody's seen that one. Okay, not quite what I was thinking. Somebody, I think, was saying that the good guy with the gun had a rifle, and I don't think that that's accurate. But the video is kind of grainy. Yeah. So the alleged bad guy has blue pants, a black shirt, and was carrying a rifle, and he did fire into the Tesla. And then the alleged good guy has some sort of hat on. Somebody says it's a cowboy hat, but I don't think it's a cowboy hat. You guys let me know if you think I'm wrong here, because let me put it back up. That doesn't look like a cowboy. It looks like, if I'm being honest, it looks like he has a baseball cap with like a ponytail coming out the back of his hat or something. I don't even know. I don't know. But if that's a good guy with a gun, then give him a medal and some beer. And shoot, I'd love to give the guy a gun. It'd be awesome. Yeah, I was looking again. I've seen a name, and I don't want to say a name because you guys remember the stabbings at the up at the University of Idaho. There's a new Netflix documentary that just released, and there's one on Prime. Anyway, there's a bunch of documentaries about the University of Idaho's quadruple murder. But for a long time, some people were blaming one of the roommates, and just drug his name through the mud before the police were like, well, no, the DNA evidence and everything points to this other person. We've seen that online where somebody's like, hey, this guy looks suspicious. He's probably the suspect. And then you drag his name through the mud all over the world, and then that's not the right person. Oh, shoot. So that's why I'm always hesitant to share names of stuff until it's confirmed, just because you could ruin somebody's life by sharing the wrong person. Again, there's pictures, and even a lot of the pictures have allegedly been changed by AI, so you just get a little weary of that kind of stuff. So will this lead to gun control in the state of Idaho? My guess is no. I don't. If you've never been in Idaho or haven't followed Idaho gun politics, in my 14 years of doing day-to-day 2A activism, we've always had bills that could impact gun owners in a bad way, and really maybe one or two, gun control bills that died very quickly. I've even had Democrats, lawmakers come up to me and say, "Hey, what about this? And what about this?" And they're trying to come up with some idea they think gun owners will get behind. And they don't need to ask my permission or anything like that. But they basically are like, are you gonna try and squash this if I run it? And then the answer is always yes. If you try to push gun control, we're going to fight against it. I'm a very much a no compromise. The shall not be infringed portion of the Second Amendment means exactly that. It shall not be infringed. And there are thousands and thousands of infringements on the right to keep and bear arms across the country. And so, no, will you see one? I mean, there are Democrats in Boise who could introduce a gun control bill, and it wouldn't go anywhere. But I'm surprised that they don't try still. So it's kind of strange. There was another thing that happened, by the way, in Twin Falls, and I don't know if this is completely separate. I have heard the audio from the police scanner that an SUV, this was like right at the same time that an SUV reportedly rammed into the emergency room doors at the hospital, or at a hospital in Twin. Now, I have no idea if that's true, but I did hear the audio of that, and so that'd be, again, there's a weird stuff happening all at the same time. I see this guy's name popping up a couple times, and I just really don't want to put it out there. And if some big X account shares it, fine, but nobody is sharing it yet, other than some really tiny accounts. So the suspect is gone. Good riddance. Like, you got to be mentally insane to just do this. Like, I was talking about this with Bob Brodowski with Idaho 2A News. Good guys. Subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. And, I don't know any gun owners, and I assume all the gun owners in the comments here, like, nobody wants to take another person's life. You know what I mean? Like, no sane person, no mentally stable person has any desire to just start killing other people, even if they deserve it. Okay, I am a God-fearing man, and I believe that life is precious. But I can't, like, I have no desire. Even when I went to Iraq, I didn't have a desire to kill someone, even if they're trying to kill me. Yes, I'm gonna have to defend my life. I get it, but nobody wants this. So yeah, Idaho's changing, and you can't sit around and hope that Idaho's going to remain the safe haven it has been for a really long time. It's not. It's changed dramatically, and sadly, a couple people have apparently lost their lives. We believe that there's 2 innocent people that died, and then the shooter would make 3, because the police did say there was 3 dead and 2 injured. But we haven't had any confirmation on names of the victims. And so far, again, it's just weird, because even on X, which usually picks up people's names fairly quick, uh, that he has not been identified by someone already because it's usually pretty fast. Um, yeah, let me let's see if you guys have any carry everywhere 24/7. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Jeffrey, I did see that's the you're talking about the one where he shoots up the Tesla. Okay, so Gail said it was a St. Luke's, or you only have one hospital. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I mean, some communities have one big one and then like some little tiny ones, and I thought it was the St. Luke's Hospital. I don't even know if that's true, but there were. Well, I've seen it multiple places that somebody had rammed in through the hospital. That just happened in Idaho this year, right? It wasn't back in March or something, and some crazy leftist like rammed into the hospital in Meridian or Boise. It's freaking crazy. Let's see. No, so I can't show the Tesla video. It's all over Twitter. Like you just type in Twin Falls shooting suspect and you'll see that video. If I show it on YouTube, they will 100% ban me for it. Unfortunately. Yeah, when somebody said that in talking about the good guy, he may be injured. The video I watched looked like he may have got hit. It's really hard to say. He's talking about the good guy with a gun, that he might have got hit. So I'm trying to scroll back to that video real quick. I don't know. I don't know if he gets hit. Shane, when I talked to Shane again, he's an activist here in Idaho. I'm watching the video again here real quick. Okay, so he's engaging. He ducks. He's jumping into the bushes, and I think the reason a lot of people think he got, and I'm not saying he didn't get hit, but I think a lot of the reason people think he got hit is because when he jumps down into the bushes, he disappears completely, and I think that's where people thinks that he got hit. But here's the thing: I don't know. I wonder if I can show you here. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. You can see him walking. So after he falls into the bushes, he gets back up and starts. Looks like he's got his gun and he's moving back towards the suspected gunman. So as far as I can tell, I don't think he gets hit. I think the reason people think that the good guy got hit is because he does when he's jumping into the bushes. There's probably a curb there or something like that, and I assume here I'm gonna real quick see if I can get a screenshot of what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, one sec here. Okay, so I'm going to pull up another. Let's see. Sorry, somebody said. Okay. It's a booty ad. Okay, that would, yeah. That makes sense. I was like, it looks like he has a freaking man bun on, which, hey, look, man, I don't freaking care. If you're willing to go in and take someone on and try to save lives, and good on you, brother. I don't care what you wear. Yeah. Okay. So here, I'll go back to your guys's stuff here in a sec. I'm going to upload another picture where I think if the dude's hit, he gets back up and starts going at it again. And unfortunately, here, one sec. Good. Okay. So let me upload this and then one sec here. Okay. So now this is I don't know if you can see my cursor, but you can see this black shadow figure thing right here. This is a still frame, but this is him. So he falls to the left of this, 2 or 3 feet over that direction is where you see him jump into the bushes. And then as this car is driving away, this car who is filming this, as they're driving away, he pops back up right here and starts moving back. So I think, and I'm praying that I'm right, because I definitely don't want to be wrong about that. I think he's okay. And when you watch the video on X again, watch the video of him. He's firing, and then he ducks, and it looks like he kind of falls down in, and then he's moving, he's moving. So if he did get hit, then maybe his adrenaline, he just kind of kept going and was going in the fight regardless. Yeah, suppressed, oversaturated rumors around here right now. Yeah. Again, lots of rumors right now. The only confirmed facts, at least from the police, are that there's 3 people dead, 2 injured. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Jeffrey, on how many people are dead, my guess is they don't really say this in the press conference, but my assumption is that out of the 3, that the shooter is one of those. But they usually try to clarify that, because to my knowledge, they didn't clarify if he was one of the 3 or if it was 3, because they confirmed that he was dead. And so I got to think that they were including him in the 3. So my understanding is that there's 2 innocent people that were killed, and then a couple others that were injured, and then the shooter is also dead. Is there more than one shooter? Everybody always says there is, in every one of these instances since I have followed them. And then the police said that there's no longer a threat to the community and that the shooter is dead. So the police apparently don't believe there is another shooter. And where were you guys hearing? I had heard a rumor there was another store, and also something about the Travelers Oasis, the Garden of Eden gas station. But to my knowledge, I mean, nothing even in the Twitter feed is saying anything about a. Okay, somebody said something. I just saw the picture. Gosh dang it, where'd it go? Somebody said that the guy who has the handgun or whatever it is, there's another picture of a guy who doesn't look like either of the 2 guys, that has some sort of firearm. Yeah, I don't know. That might have had a different gun. That they're saying that the good guy with the gun had a different gun before that. I don't think that that's accurate either. But I could be wrong. Yeah, so Shay Reeves says there was only one shooter and a civilian who got out and started shooting back. That's my that's my assumption, and based on what I've seen is that there was one bad guy doing whatever he was doing for whatever reason. We don't know yet, and we may never know. We often don't know why people do this. And the only video we've seen so far is that he was shooting into the Tesla and then kind of walking around with a gun. And then there's another video of a good guy with a gun trying to take him out, and then he was taking incoming fire. And so those are the only 2. Again, some people may have mixed the good guy with a gun as a shooter, as a second shooter, just in the heat of the moment. You hear gunshots, you come outside, you see the good guy with the gun shooting at someone, and you just assume, oh, there's one shooter. He's trying to shoot someone, and not realizing that he's trying to take out the bad guy. Yeah, somebody said if you have a choice, don't go to a rifle fight with a pistol. Yeah, I mean, look, that's can't really. And there's nothing you really do about that. Most people are not carrying around their rifle as their EDC, in town. I do know some people that have rifles that they keep in their cars. But look, at the end of the day, you know, putting rounds on this guy is if this guy is a good guy who either stopped that guy or distracted him long enough that he took his own life, or that whatever happened, people were saved. Okay. Because if you don't engage him, then you're standing in a soft target and that guy just keeps firing rounds at whoever he wants and is completely unimpeded. And it's amazing. Gun control advocates will tell you, and here's where I think a lot of these people are liars. Well, most of them are. They'll tell you, well, we don't want guns in public places like this. Okay. So in Maryland, I just wrote a story about this, that if you go to Gun News Now, you can see this. There is a rabbi of a synagogue in Maryland who is suing the state because they have a new law that says in places of public assembly, which includes churches, synagogues, okay, places of worship, on top of parks and stuff like that you can no longer have a firearm within 100 feet of those places. And this rabbi is suing the state, going, well, first of all, it's my First Amendment right to worship how I want. And he's part of their security team. And he goes, at a time when, we've had attacks on synagogues, like, you're going to now make us defenseless? Like, this is crazy. This is... and you're seeing attacks on religious places. Some LDS churches one in Michigan got attacked. There was another incident involving a revolver that just happened like a week ago. I mean, all these gun control advocates will tell you, oh, yeah, you don't need a gun there. You don't need a gun here. You don't need a gun there. And one of my favorite stories to tell, because here's the thing. If you've watched me for a long time, I've gone to University of Wisconsin. I've gone to Boise State University. I've gone to other places. And here's what's fascinating. So I will ask them, do you think, so for instance, when I graduated from Boise State University, okay, I got a bachelor's in criminal justice, and I remember sitting in class. So this is 2012 or 2013, might have been 2013. Because it was shortly after Kelly, or maybe it was a few years after Virginia Tech. I don't remember. When was Virginia Tech? Was that 2009? When was the Virginia Tech shooting? Oh, it's just been so long. 2007. Okay. So I think I brought up Virginia Tech, and maybe it was shortly after Sandy Hook that we were talking about this. Anyway, so I'm in class, and the way that a lot of the classrooms are at Boise State, at least when I was there, it's small classrooms, right? You can fit maybe 20 people, and there's one way in and one way out. That's it. And I was going to school, and this is before campus carry. Okay. But I can tell you that I was prepared to do what was necessary in defense of myself and others, for that matter. So we're sitting in class, and I'm trying to remember. I don't even remember what class it was. It might have been political science or English or some damn class. And anyway, we were talking about campus carry. And campus carry didn't go into law in Idaho until 2013 or 14. I would say it's 2014. Anyway, so I'm sitting in class, and of course I'm like one of the oldest people in this class. I've got all these young kids in there. And this is after I've been to Japan as a missionary. I've been to Iraq with the Idaho Army National Guard, and I've got a wife and kids and a full-time job on the military base in Boise. Excuse me. And so I'm in here with this class with all these super annoying kids. And for those of you that are just tuning in, we're talking about the Twin Falls, tragedy today, and what appears to be a good guy with a gun that stopped or helped stop or slow down what was happening. Anyway, so I'm sitting in this class at Boise State University, and I said, who here thinks that it would be a good idea to allow students to be able to carry to defend themselves? And of course, nobody raises their hand. It is just me. Okay. I'm the only one, including the teacher, that was like, yeah, no. So then I said, okay, hypothetical. Some shooter walks into this room right now. And let's say I'm carrying a gun, or had a gun, which I did. And they probably thought I was just making an example. I said, that guy walks in. A bad guy walks in, and he shoots the teacher, and he shoots you and you and you. And I pull out my gun and I shoot him and I kill him. Is that worse or better than the first scenario where he just walks in and starts shooting people? And you can see the wheels turning on some of their faces, right? They're like, okay, yeah, that's not as bad. I'm like, okay. And then inevitably somebody will say, because they always do, yeah, but what if you hit someone? Right? What if I, as the good guy, what if this guy here today at the In-N-Out accidentally hit an innocent person? And I said, okay, that is something that every gun owner who carries a gun, you understand that consequence, right? You understand that that is a real risk. You understand that there is a possibility in a high pressure, high intense situation with moving targets and all that kind of stuff, that while you're trying to stop that bad guy, you may inadvertently hit someone that is innocent. Okay. That's something you have to live with the rest of your life. So that is a huge burden. And that's why carrying a gun is not just some happy-go-lucky thing that we just throw on and we're like, hey, whatever, I get to carry a gun. It's a real responsibility. You should do real training as much as possible. But let's take that scenario, okay? And so I said, okay, the bad guy comes in, okay? He comes in, he kills the teacher. And, hopefully at the distance we're at, I'm not that terrible of a shot. Okay. He kills the teacher. He kills you, and you. Okay. So there's 4 innocent people are gone. All right. Now there's only 11 of us left. I pull out my gun and he's running around the room, and I shoot and I accidentally kill you. Okay. And then I shoot and I kill the bad guy. Okay. So now I've accidentally taken an innocent person's life that I didn't intend to, but in that crazy situation with everything happening, I take out the bad guy, but I do accidentally kill an innocent person. And I said, again, is that worse or better than scenario A? And at this point, everybody's kind of like, okay, because I'm like, if I don't have a gun, what's going to happen? Well, we're all dead. You're damn right? Every one of us is dead if I don't have something, because the cops ain't getting here in time. And so if I don't stop him, then that's it. Like, we're all dead. And I'm sad, right? I'm sad, and that person's gone, and I'm going to feel horrible for the rest of my life that accidentally took someone's life, that was innocent. And then I had to also take another life because I killed this bad guy. But that's the reality of gun-free zones. The bad guys, these people who are mentally deranged, if you go and you shoot up a place like this, you are mentally ill. Okay. Bottom line, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. No sane, normal person wants to take a life. And whether it's deserved or not, like, somebody breaks into my house, I'm going to do what's necessary. But I don't have any desire to do that, right? There are some gun owners out there that, like, oh man, I can't wait till somebody breaks into my house. I'm ready to take someone out. I'm like, dude, that's not normal. Like, as a at least God-fearing person, I don't want to do it. I will do it when it's absolutely necessary. Outside of that, no desire whatsoever. Honestly, I think most of us should have more. If you guys ever seen Hacksaw Ridge, one of the greatest war movies ever. It's based on a true story about he's a Seventh-day Adventist, and he didn't want to carry a rifle. He was a conscientious objector and got the Medal of Honor because the dude went up, and in the most insane conditions ever, saved or brought like 75 people off of Hacksaw Ridge when the Japanese were just like, I mean, it was this huge battle. I mean, it was incredible. Like, that's the mentality I think that most people want to have, is like, hey, I don't want to have to take a life. I will, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I got to do to save people. Okay, so George Marler says one of the shooting survivors is Terry Dudley, a member of this group. Hold on. Are you saying he follows the ISA page? Is that what you're saying? Here, I don't know if I can look up followers. Maybe I can. Hey George, if you can send me a message on Facebook to the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance Facebook thing, and let me know more details on that. Because if he is someone that we know or can help out, then okay. So somebody said he's currently in surgery. Just a sec. Oh, okay. Well, did Terry? So somebody said that Terry was in surgery. This post says that he did not make it, but again, dang. Okay. So I did find, it looks like Mr. Dudley's son. I don't know how this is. The first name is Osiris. So I don't know if that's a fake name or whatever. But someone that says, my dad, Terry Dudley, was the victim of a mass shooting in Twin Falls, Idaho. I ask for your thoughts and prayers to go out to my dad, but he doesn't say. Okay, some people are saying that yeah. So I believe you're right in that it looks like he is in surgery. I did find his. I did find his Facebook. Sorry, guys. Okay. So it looks like he is one of the victims, but maybe one of the injured ones. I'm not sure. So yeah, for those that are just tuning in, there was a shooting in Twin Falls, Idaho, at the In-N-Out. That the police say there's 3 dead, which one of those is the shooter. So there's 2 others that are deceased and several that are injured. Yeah. And I believe that Terry Dudley, who everyone says is one of the victims, is one of the injured ones. He is currently in surgery. So I'd have to ask Shane Class, because Shane said there was a guy who was on a motorcycle that was hit. Is that the same person? Because this guy rides a motorcycle. I wonder if that's Shane's cousin. I don't even know. Let's see. Going back through the comments here real quick. Yeah, so 3 confirmed dead guys. 2 of those are innocents, and 1 is the shooter. That we believe that's how the police said 3 dead, including the shooter, and so they didn't clarify that, because sometimes the numbers are there's 3 innocent people that we actually care about that are dead, and then there's the bad guy. But I think that the police were counting the bad guy in with others. Let's see. Trying to. All right. Somebody says that the good guy with the gun has a Glock with a laser light and a surefire suppressor. Yeah, I mean, again, definitely looks like a handgun with a suppressor on it. The light does make sense because when you're looking at that huge, here, let me pull up the. Yeah, when you're seeing this thing right here, that's the only thing that makes sense is that he's got a light on there, and all that. Again, kind of a interesting. Again, people are asking why in the world does that guy have a suppressor on? Like, because nobody, I don't know anyone that carries a suppressor on their side, just walking around every day, because it'd be super annoying to do, to be honest. But you never know, I guess. But having it in your car, there are reasons that you would want to have that potentially. Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, I don't know. Some people said that this might be an Antifa guy and all this other stuff. Again, I don't. There's a number of reports that are coming out that say he has ties to Antifa, but I don't. I don't know. There's a name of the suspected shooter, but it's still. I'm looking, and there's no major X accounts or anything saying what his. Yeah, just all sorts of rumors. He's from Croatia. There's a picture that somebody posted of him in some looks like the same guy in military garb. But I don't know that. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't. Other than that, I've only seen two major videos. One is the good guy with the gun, and then the other is the bad guy. And there is another video, and then sadly the car drove away, but they were recording the bad guy trying to get into his white car or something. I'm not really sure. Honda Civic or something or the other. Yeah, so Range Minded Podcast says the video of him or the pic of him holding the rifle is AI, and that's again some people on the Idaho Segment Lights Facebook page were mad that I wasn't posting the picture. I'm like, dude, that's going to be the problem, right? Going forward, is there's so much AI and so much crap out there that you're just hesitant to share stuff. So I kept hoping like the Twin Falls police earlier on would say, hey, here's a picture of the guy, share this. I'm like, okay, and now I can share it and not have to worry about it being some freaking AI picture. Yeah, the Honda Civic. Okay, that's kind of what I thought. As far as suspects, there's only one, apparently, according to the police, and that he is dead. There's pictures of him all over social media, but we don't have a name definitively. And then what else? Somebody asked. And as far as the motive goes, I have not heard a motive. I've only seen some X account saying that it was a target. There was a specific reason that he went there. And here's the thing. So your question is, if he went to the In-N-Out and shot, and one person was a target, okay, or two people. If he went there to specifically target one person, then your next question is, okay, but if he killed that person, why is there more people hurt or killed? I mean, there's a couple, I guess, theories that would maybe explain that, and primarily being, you don't know if he's crazy if he shot the one person he intended to shoot and then just said, screw it, why not just keep going? Right? I'm going to die. I'm probably going to go to prison the rest of my life. I'll just die by cop and I'll just kill some other innocent people while I'm doing it. That's a possible explanation. Again, you got to remember, freaking crazy. It's a mentally deranged person who's just going around shooting people. So sometimes a motive is tough to come by. Sometimes a motive is just evil. There's bad people. Again, as a God-fearing person, I believe in evil. I believe that we, as a country, we have thrown God to the curb. And as a result of destroying the family, here in Idaho, we have a ballot initiative in November in Idaho that should not be possible. Okay. Abortion up until birth. And I know we're talking guns and this is a gun group and all that kind of stuff, but that's what we're facing. Like these leftists think that they can come to Idaho and turn Idaho into the next California and Oregon and Washington. And that's why, with Idaho Second Amendment Alliance, we've done this work for so long, and you guys cannot become complacent. Like we just can't. And my fear right now is that too many people in Idaho are becoming complacent. You're happy. And I get it. Look, everything is really crappy right now. The economy is not superb. Things are tough. But lately we've had a really hard time. And I'm hearing this across the country, by the way. So I assume the economy has a bigger play here. But less and less people are like, yeah, I don't want to join the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance. What's the point? Well, this is the point. Okay, we have to be constantly vigilant in defending the right to keep and bear arms, because the second that the ISA goes away, I can promise you gun control is coming. One of the only reasons they don't even try, they don't even mutter the words in the Capitol most of the time, is because of gun owners in Idaho with the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance going, don't even try, don't even dare push gun control because we're not going to put up with it. But if we don't get people to continue to join and support and push this stuff, it's tough. Okay. It's really hard. Look, most of you know, I run everything pretty much on my own. I do almost all the work all on my own, and that's fine. But it's probably killing me. My wife has even lately been like, honey, you gotta do a different work. You gotta do something different, because I am working myself into an early grave, but I can't stop. I took an oath to defend the Constitution of Idaho and the U.S. Constitution, and I take that oath seriously today, even though I've been retired from the military for 11 years now, over a decade. But I mean, it takes a toll. It takes a toll doing this stuff, and I've been proud and honored to have just thousands of gun owners in Idaho. I mean, think about this. If we had 1,000 gun owners that were Liberty members, that's our $10 a month thing, $10 a month, and 1,000 gun owners across the state of Idaho that did that, we would be even more relentless than we already are. I could actually hire some help. That would be nice. So, go to joinisa.com if you guys want to support the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance and all the work that we do. We got a lot of stuff coming up this next session. If you want to keep up to date on gun news across the country, subscribe to Gun News Now on YouTube. That's where this is being broadcast, in addition to Facebook, the ISA Facebook page. Sorry, I'm still just trying to. I saw a post and Twitter refreshed and I totally lost it. It looked like a different video that I hadn't seen, and now it's gone. I'm pissed. Anyway, subscribe to the YouTube channel, read the news on Gun News Now. One of the biggest things that I want to do, and I'm hoping this good guy with the gun is alive, because I'd love to interview him and talk to him, and I'd love to talk to some gun shops about giving this guy a free gun. And maybe you guys can buy him 10 cases of beer or whatever if he drinks. But anyway, one of the big sections on Gun News Now that we have is self-defense stories, because the gun control advocates tell you that there's no such thing as a good guy with a gun. It doesn't happen, yada, yada, yada. And I've been posting story after story after story of these self-defense situations. And you got to share those. You got to, have gun owners or people who aren't maybe big pro 2A advocates sharing those stories so they can go, oh, okay, like this is big. It's happening all the time. Like literally, guns save thousands and thousands of lives every single year, and the vast majority of murders in this country take place in a few counties, and most of it's gang violence. And other people who die by firearm is sadly suicide. But good guys with guns stop bad guys with guns all the time. And that's one of the things with Gun News Now that I wanted to do was highlight those stories. Let's see. Let me see. Sorry, I got to go back up here. I missed a whole bunch of comments here. Yeah, so Nikki O'Neill says, why shoot the Tesla? That's what I'm saying. So the initial story I heard was that the first victim was inside of In-N-Out. Okay. It's possible that that first person was, and again, this is just conjecture. Okay. So that first person was maybe a targeted hit. And then after that, you just, again, when you're a bad person and you're controlled by evil, and then you kill one person or shoot one person, I guess, who I don't know what happened to the person In-N-Out, and then you're just like, screw it, and you just saw some people sitting in a Tesla and thought, I'm gonna target that, because from what I understand, they were charging their Tesla and just sitting there, and then he put four or five rounds into the Tesla. Now, I don't. Somebody said, "Why are you assuming he's a leftist?" I don't know if this particular guy was a leftist. There's a bunch of stuff on Twitter that say he's tied to Antifa, but again, I don't have no confirmation that that's accurate at all. Let's see. Yeah, somebody said there were people in the Tesla. There was allegedly 2 people in the Tesla. And my understanding is the Terry Dudley that we were talking about earlier, who's been identified as one of the victims, is in the hospital apparently. But okay, so he apparently drives for North Star Taxi. I believe him and his wife were sitting in the Tesla. North Star Taxi says, we will be closed for the rest of the night and possibly the next couple of days. Our driver, Terry Dudley, was the victim of a mass shooting today. He is alive, but has a very long road ahead of him. Please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. So right now, that is the only victim that I've seen, other than there is an activist in Twin Falls who said that his cousin was also hit in the shooting today, was riding his motorcycle, and I believe he said his left arm. All of a sudden, his left arm just fell off the handlebar, and he looked down and saw blood and was like, oh, crap, I think I just got shot. Pulled his bike off and laid his bike down, and his cousin's friend stopped in a car and we're like, what are you doing? Because he laid his bike on the ground, was like, I think I just got shot. And they ended up taking him to a hospital. So that was, Shane said that was his cousin that got hit as well. So that would be 2 people, but he didn't give me a name or anything like that. But just, it's a tragic situation. And as of right now, there is no identity of the suspect other than some stuff on Twitter that, okay, so the first shooting, the victim, the Terry Dudley, that is starting to pop up all over YouTube now. Or excuse me, X. Tom says, remember my wife and kids. My wife and kids have put in a ton of work for the ISA. So, somebody said the man shooting into the Tesla doesn't appear to be the same man in some pictures shooting in front of In-N-Out dressed differently. No, there are two main videos. There's the guy that's shooting into the Tesla, who we believe is the main suspect, who is also apparently dead, according to the police. And then there's the good guy with a gun, who I think is the one. Is he in front of the In-N-Out? Let me find it again real quick. I think that is the In-N-Out. Yeah, so the other person that you're seeing is in front of the In-N-Out is the good guy with the gun, we believe. If that's the In-N-Out, I can't see the sign. But I believe the good guy with the gun is that white building behind him is the In-N-Out. I could be wrong. I can't tell. There's definitely a drive-through window right there. I don't know. Anyway, those are the only two people I've seen with firearms in videos. Oh man. Hey, James Dudley said his brother was the one in the Tesla. Hey man, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your brother. Hopefully he will be okay. Yeah, that's golly. I can't imagine. Okay. Somebody said the police say the shooter killed himself. That could be. I only watched the one, and I only caught some of the press conference, the initial press conference they did at 5:45 Mountain Time. So if they've had another update since then, I haven't caught it because I was on with Idaho 2A News and now doing this live stream. Let's see. Okay, so James said that his brother Stable was charging his Tesla and minding his own business. Hey, James, maybe you can clarify. Was there somebody else in the Tesla with your brother, or was it just him? Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, somebody said the Tesla has 7 or 8 cameras. Yeah, they do have a ton of cameras, and I don't know. I mean, I assume obviously right now his brother's health is going to be the most important thing, but I don't know why that disappeared completely. Let's see. But getting the Tesla footage would be huge eventually, so. Somebody said, I'm from California. My kids was in Ross. I had heard some witnesses were in Ross and they could hear the shooting all the way over at the Ross. Golly. Yeah, that's crazy, James. Well, yeah, hopefully he has a good recovery. Somebody had said there was 2 people in the Tesla. That's why I was hoping maybe James could clarify. Okay, so somebody on YouTube is saying, see, that's why in these situations it's really rough, because somebody on YouTube says the Tesla driver was one of the deceased, and I'm like, well, that's not accurate, because the Tesla driver's brother is in our comments saying that he was hit, but he wasn't killed. And that's why it's so hard with these situations, because there's so many rumors and so much crazy stuff happening that you just get, everybody's trying to figure out what happened and get out information, and then you end up sharing bad information and stuff that's not true. And so according to James, who is Terry Dudley's brother, he was hit, but is in the hospital, and they are treating him. So hopefully gets a good recovery, and that he was stable. He also said he was stable. So let's see. Give me one sec here. My wife's checking on me. Okay, so there's two different Teslas. Gray one had a man who died. Okay, because I've only seen. I'm not saying there's not. The only video I've seen is a shooting of a Tesla that is. I guess I can't. I'm blind as hell. I can't tell what color that is. It doesn't look. Oh, is there two? Okay, there's a blue Tesla, maybe. Okay, that's why. There is a blue Tesla and a gray Tesla. Oh, is there? Okay, so because I don't think the video. Okay, maybe. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at the video, so I guess if James is still in here, he can clarify. I see two Teslas. There is a blue one. There is a gray one. The gray one is the one that I think everybody's looking at because he puts 4 or 5 rounds through the windshield. Um, the blue Tesla, though, the video doesn't start until he's walking right behind the blue Tesla. So it's possible right before this he had shot into that Tesla and maybe hit James's brother, if that's James's brother. Um, so that's anyway, that would be crazy. Oops, somebody said 1 second here. Okay, so Leighton Myers said the good guy with a gun is the only reason he didn't go to Mo Beta's. Bless that man's soul. Um, Somebody said Leighton was on the news. Okay. So yeah, somebody did say that the guy, the people in the gray, and that's where I think some of the confusion was coming in because James is saying his brother was in a Tesla and was shot, and I'm like, dang man, because when he put those rounds through that gray Tesla, I thought, holy crap, I don't know how anyone survived. And we had seen stories that the driver of the gray Tesla had died, and that his wife was injured, and that's why I was confused because James said his brother sounds like his brother was alone. So, but with two Teslas there, you just don't see that in the video. The video starts with the bad guy is already at the back right corner of the Tesla. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 5 there. Into the windshield. Like I just, man. All right. Sierra's a good friend and a good conservative activist. So she was down there a couple of hours ago. ATF was on the scene looking at the shooter's trunk. Yeah. 1 sec here. Yeah, this is a lot of comments like this. The gray Tesla had a man and his wife, and both were shot. Unfortunately, we've still not seen the name. I haven't seen the confirmed name. I've seen a name floating around, and then people sharing pictures of that guy's name, but it doesn't look quite like the same person. And again, that's why I'm always hesitant to say who it is unless we have some real confirmation. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Oh, here we go. And if you guys have it, just you can shoot it to me in the comments. Again, somebody said, was it random or was there an argument? There's no motive that's been released. There are rumors that it was a targeted shooting first. Uh, somebody thought it might have been targeted, and then maybe he just kept going after that. Just assuming that he was going to take his own life or die by cop, or maybe the good guy shot him. Somebody said that he took his own life. Again, I haven't seen that unless it was in another update, and I just haven't seen it. Let's see. Dang it, there was another video that I don't know if it was real or not, and I was trying to find it, and I just can't seem to find it. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, look, a lot of people asking about the motives and all the rumors. There are rumors that this guy is from Croatia or Bosnia or whatever, or from another state, or again, there's just so many rumors, and to my knowledge, nobody has identified him definitively, other than the rumors that I can see on social media. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody on YouTube says the guy with the pistol is a California conservative refugee. Could be. I don't know. If you actually have that, then shoot it over. Happy to post that. It's interesting. So I've lived in Idaho most of my life. I was born in Wyoming. And what's interesting is, okay, there's two types of, we're going to get into this here for just a minute. When you talk about political refugees, you're going to get a lot of native Idahoans or Idahoans who have lived here for a long time that they blame the Californians for everything, and the Californians they're coming here and they're bringing their bad politics with them. And there are people who do fall into that category. But I can tell you that some of my closest allies and the people who are the most fierce defenders of the 2A in Idaho are from California. And Washington in particular. I have a lot of people I know that because here's the thing, and here's where these paths kind of diverge a little bit. A lot of these guys have been in the fights. Okay, if you've come from California, Oregon, or Washington, and the left coast, then it's once you've left behind enemy lines, you're in a place that's completely free, and you don't want Idaho to turn into the place you just left. And so they're some of our most avid fighters, where there are other people who are native Idahoans who are the laziest bums in the world. And that's not, and again, a lot of great Idahoans too. What I'm saying is, I don't care. Okay, at the end of the day, if you're living in Idaho or Wyoming or in any other conservative state, get in the fight. Okay, get in the fight to protect your liberties, to restore, the Second Amendment until it is literally shall not be infringed. You have to be in the fight. And unfortunately, there's too many Idahoans who are the most apathetic people you will ever meet. It can't happen in Idaho. Idaho's fine. There's, we don't have to worry about the liberals here, yada, yada, yada. Okay, it's that type of mentality that ultimately leads to a state like Idaho falling and becoming more like California, Oregon, and Washington. So I love my political refugees here. I do. I hope that more Californians who are hardcore conservatives move here. and we can start a U-Haul business and help ship out all of the liberals who are native Idahoans or not. I don't really freaking care. So that's, there you go. So when it comes to Californians or political refugees, that's mine. So if that guy was the good guy with the gun was a California conservative refugee, then give the dude a freaking medal. I don't care where he's from. So, but yeah, some of the best conservative activists we have in the state are from other states. Now, that being said, I will say this, okay, because there are people in Idaho politics right now, drives me crazy, who are the type of people that came from another state. And here's the other danger. Here's what you have to realize. When you live in California, the center to you, which is like very liberal compared to Idaho, okay? So wherever the center is in California politics, you think that that's the center of politics. It's not. That might be the center of California politics, but in Idaho, we're used to way over here on the right, and then past that, you start getting towards the center. But the center in California and the center in Idaho aren't even close, okay? It's not even remotely close. And so there are some Californians who come here, or people from Washington, and they think they're willing to accept the nonsense from our legislators and governor and the moderate, be as fake conservatives as you can. And they're like, oh, this is fantastic. Governor Little's fantastic because he, compared to Gavin Newsom, I'm like, well, sure, compared to Gavin Newsom, Little probably looks like a conservative, but he's not. He's not a conservative. Okay, you have to realize that the bar here in Idaho is we need to push it way further to the right. so you got to jump on board. So there are those Californians or political refugees as well that they're okay with mediocrity here. They're okay with do as little as possible in the state of Idaho because they're just, they don't want to fight. They don't want to fight. They let their own state fall apart and go to crap. And the Republicans in those states typically have just thrown in the towel. And so they come here and they're just like, I don't want to fight the moderates because Idaho's fantastic. And so that all that is super true and also very frustrating. But there's just as many, if not more, apathetic, lazy Idahoans, native Idahoans, the 10th generation Idahoans and all that nonsense. There's enough of those that you can't blame any one particular group. Apathy is what will kill us. Okay, apathy is what will destroy a conservative state, and conservatives are notorious for being the most apathetic people in the world. Look, again, I know we're talking about guns. This is gun news now, and Idaho Second Amendment Alliance, all pro-gun stuff. Prop 1, no matter how you feel about abortion, okay, no matter where you land on the life. Now, I'm 100% pro-life. I'm fighting Prop 1. On top of doing all the gun stuff, I'm trying to do what I can to stop, babies from being killed. But set your personal views on abortion aside. The left is running an abortion initiative where it would be abortion up until birth. It would be no parental consent. And any medical provider, not a doctor, any medical provider, which is a really broad category, by the way, is making these decisions. Okay. Our abortion laws would be very similar to those in California and New York. And this is supposed to be one of the reddest states in the country. And that's going to be on the ballot in Idaho. If they can pull off passing the Prop 1 abortion initiative, what makes you think they won't try a gun control initiative? And I know in some of these red states like Idaho, you're thinking, look, they're never going to be able to pull off a gun control initiative in Idaho. And I think you're wrong. Now, I think I would fight it, and I feel confident we would win, but I don't think it's a slam dunk. And here's why. Let me give you an example of a gun control initiative that could pop up in Idaho that would have a decent chance of passing. And the one in particular that I'm thinking of is universal background checks. Okay. So if you don't know what a universal background check is, it means if I want to sell a gun to my friend who's in Tom Knopf, who's watching in here, if I want to sell a gun to my friend Tom with universal background checks, now I can't just sell that gun to Tom and we're good to go. We have to go down and get the government's permission for me to sell that gun to Tom. Okay. Sometimes family members are exempt from the universal background check rule, but basically you can't sell to your friend, your friends or neighbors or people you go to church with. You have to get the government's permission. Okay. Which I believe is 100% unconstitutional. So setting that aside, when they're out gathering signatures to put universal background checks on the ballot, do you think that that's how they're pitching it? No, because the liberals have figured out that they can run these ballot initiatives, which in my opinion should be abolished. Okay. I have said from the very beginning, when I started the ISA in 2012, you should abolish ballot initiatives, because if you want to see how California, Oregon, and Washington got destroyed, it was ballot initiatives. They absolutely destroyed them. And gun owners would get furious at me years ago. They're like, oh, but we can run a good initiative. And I'm like, no, that's number one. I think ballot initiatives are direct democracy. So it's not representative government. So I don't even think they should exist. But let's pretend for a moment that we are going to keep the ballot initiative process around, and it probably will be here in Idaho for a long time. If there's a gun control initiative, what's going to happen is they're going to go out and they're going to have the media on their side, right? KTVB, Times News, Idaho State Journal, all the liberal news organizations in Idaho are going to help push a gun control initiative, 100%, right? The money will also not be close, because gun owners will not pony up enough money to defeat it compared to Gifford's gun control, Everytown for gun safety, and all these gun control groups will dump millions of dollars that we just can't compete. Well, let me rephrase that. We could, but gun owners typically just don't donate to defeat that kind of stuff in large numbers like liberals do. Okay. So they've got money that we can't compete with or won't compete with because we don't want to. We don't have a propaganda machine like they do with the mainstream media. And our organizational skills, let's be honest, are just not as good. Liberals are a lot better at grassroots organization for the most part. Now, when they're out pushing a gun control initiative, ballot initiative in Idaho, what they're probably going to say is not, hey, we want to make sure that if you're selling a gun to your family friend that you have to go down and get permission from the government. That's not the pitch. The pitch is, we want to do this because we want to stop crime. We want to keep bad guys from getting guns. Now, everybody watching this feed knows that's a bunch of bullcrap, okay? Bad guys are always going to get guns. They don't care about the laws. That's why they're bad guys. But to the average person, even a moderate Republican who's not paying attention, like, well, that sounds good. I don't want bad guys to have guns. I'll sign on to that. Okay. And then it gets on the ballot, and in their heads, they're voting for something that will stop bad guys from getting guns, when that's not the case. It's just going to make it more of a pain in the butt for you and me to exercise our rights. And so that's, I just, the good, we can run a good ballot initiative is just not super realistic. You could look at Washington State, by the way, a state which has done a ton of what you would call good ballot initiatives, not necessarily on guns, but on other stuff. And I can't remember the guy's name. He's organized, I don't know how many of them. And the vast majority of those, you know what happened to him after they passed and passed on the ballot? The liberal court system struck him down and got rid of them. So to me, the ballot initiatives are not worth the fight to keep. They're never going to get thrown out, because I don't think our legislature has the cojones to even dare do that. But okay, let's get back. Let me get back into the comments here real quick. Let's see. Golly, I don't know. All right. Other people saying there's some other stuff happening in Twin Falls. Golly, way too many comments to catch up on. I apologize. I'm trying to skim through and see if somebody. Looks like we got a few liberals tuning in on the YouTube channel. That's okay. Welcome. You can help their algorithm regardless. Go pay your NRA fees. Joke's on you because I don't like the NRA. The NRA has compromised way too much over the years, and they are a big reason that we have so much gun control. So, all right. So it looks like in the comments, there's still a lot of people. Okay, so we did get here. This is for people that were wondering. James Dudley is the brother of Terry Dudley, who was the first, or not first, or I guess technically the first named victim that people have brought out. James says that. Okay, so again, we're going back to there are two Teslas that were charging side by side. The video only shows the guy shooting into the gray one. James says both Teslas were shot at. My brother was in the blue one by himself and is in the ICU recovery. Okay, because what we're hearing right now is that so James' brother, and you don't see the guy shoot into the blue one, so that had to have happened right before the video starts that you'll see on Twitter. And then you do see him shoot 4 or 5 times into the gray Tesla. The gray Tesla is where some people are saying the driver was killed and the passenger was injured. And so there's some confusion there. It even looks like in the comments. Because there was some confusion, I think, on people realizing that people in both Teslas were apparently hit. Yeah, somebody said it's not left versus right; it's good versus evil. I 100% agree. I think we're getting to a place where it's harder and harder to find, if I'm being honest, Democrats who are willing to protect the Second Amendment. I think they're very much on the you can have a musket and that's about it type mentality. And I'm speaking in generalities here, but by and large, that's the parties have definitely shifted there. But I will be the first to tell you, and people that know me know, I honestly could care less about either party. There's so many corrupt Republicans. All you have to do is look in Congress to see that. Corrupt Democrats. It's just, look, human nature is corruption. Okay, power corrupts people. I have seen people who were good people before they went into the state capitol, and they sold out for money, power, you name it. And so your state capitol, wherever you're watching from, your congressman, I can promise you the vast majority of them all become corrupt on some level at some point, and they care more about money and power, prestige, fame, you name it. That's what they end up doing it for, and it's kind of sad and frustrating. I was still trying to find another video, but again, it would look like a different angle. But I again, stupid Twitter refreshed and it was gone, and I forgot to click on it fast enough. Again, if somebody has information on the good guy with a gun or knows who it is and can put me in contact with him, I'd love to reach or talk to him eventually. All right. Let's see. All right. Somebody is posting. Where is this at? All right. Somebody keeps posting stuff from Jim Risch on here. Please stop. Give me 1 second. So, for those that don't know, James Dudley is the brother of Terry Dudley, who is one of the victims. Terry is in the hospital, stable and receiving treatment. So hopefully he will be okay in the long run. Okay, I'm sorry. I was catching up. So Maria Dawn Budden says her family was in the gray Tesla. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Maria. Our thoughts and prayers are with your family. Like, I can't imagine just sitting there minding your own business and some evil person does that. I'm trying to see. Yeah. 1 second. And then, all right. Somebody said maybe they're being facetious. But if we take all the guns out of the USA, we will be safer. As someone who did a tour of duty in Iraq, here's what I can tell you: you will never get all the guns out. It is not possible. In a country like Iraq, where there was far stricter firearms regulations than we have here in the U.S., we found weapons cache after weapons cache after weapons cache, like an insane amount of firearms, and there's not even remotely close to the same amount that we have here in the States. Like, you could not get all the guns out. It's just not physically possible. Anyway. All right. So Maria said this must be about the person that was in the passenger seat, I was told, was injured. Somebody said play the videos you're looking at. I can't. YouTube will not allow me. That's the truth. And Facebook probably won't either. YouTube doesn't allow you to show acts of violence on thing. I did show a still shot of the good guy with a gun, but if YouTube picks up that you shared actual shootings, then they will absolutely. The series, go on X. You can go on X. You can probably go on YouTube. You can go on YouTube and find the videos. They're all over the place. But if I share them live, then I will get banned. So, yeah. Again, I really hope that somebody figures out who the good guy is. And yeah, our thoughts and our prayers are with Maria and James and your guys' families, and hoping you guys can get a moment to catch your breath and golly. Can I share? I don't know where that will go. Okay, I shared a link, joinisa.com, if you want to join the Idaho Second Alliance or whatever. Help us stay in the fight. Let's see. Yeah, you gotta love when the gun grabbers say dumb stuff like this. Common sense gun safety laws. Here's the thing. I was actually just talking to somebody about this, and I might have even put it in one of our articles on Gun News Now. There's no such thing as common sense gun safety laws, because for you people, there's no end to what that means. Like, if I said, okay, what are the 5 common sense gun safety laws that you want, and then no more after that, that's not a thing. Okay. There's no end. And all you have to do, and here's how you know these people are lying when they say we need some common sense gun safety. There is no end to it. Look at California. they continue to pass more and more and more gun control. So these common sense safety measures, which were initially universal background checks and assault weapons bans and all this, it just keeps going and going and going. Because when you really talk to these gun control advocates, the end is there's no Second Amendment. The end is with that other comment where the guy was like, just get all the guns out of America. It's that easy. Like, no, it's not that easy. Americans will not, and Idahoans will not willingly give up our rights. Sorry. Let's see. Just trying to see if there was another comment. Maybe I missed it. Okay. So I shared the link if you do want to join up. All right, Range Minded. Good luck to you, brother. We'll have to talk soon. If there was ever a glaring example of why you don't give up the right to keep and bear arms, go look at Europe. Look at England. Look at France. Look at Germany. Look at in almost any country in Europe right now. There's people just getting attacked and beaten in the streets and beheaded. No, not a thing. As someone who, again, I saw Saddam Hussein's, the result of his tyranny firsthand. Now, look, I'm not saying the war is justified, none of that. What I'm saying is I had to go serve, and I went and served. And when I went to Iraq and saw what a third world country looks like, when I saw so I did, in fact, if you want to do this, go Google Greg Pruett, Brothers in Arms, Iraq. That should bring it up. It's been a while. Give me one sec here. Greg Pruett, Brothers in Arms, Iraq. Yeah, it still does come up. Okay, so if you Google Greg Pruett, Brothers in Arms, Iraq, you will find a CNN story, New York Times, I don't know, Chris Matthews, NBC, Donnie Deutsch. I don't know if you can see that picture. Oh, you kind of can. Here. So I went to Iraq, and and what I'm getting at is, I'll tell you here in just a sec. So I went to Iraq. I was there with three of my brothers. My dad and one of my brothers was in Iraq prior to me and three of my other brothers going. And then my sister went to Iraq after we all got back. So I have 8 people in my family. 7 of us served in Iraq. And I don't remember how it happened, but CNN is CNN, okay? Now, a long time ago, it wasn't nearly as bad as it is now, but there was a war reporter named Alex, and this lady was just an awesome lady. She was, look, war reporters are different, okay? It's not the same thing. But her name's Alex Quaid, and so I had the opportunity. It was this is 2005. We were in Iraq from November of 2004 to November of 2005, and she came and did several stories. Like, she followed us into Kuwait, followed us in Iraq, and we eventually did. So they wanted to do an interview with Donnie Deutsch. So this is on CNBC, I think, at the time. Donnie Deutsch is like a flaming liberal, but he was nice enough to my family, I guess. So I couldn't complain. But you can see in the picture here, so I'm up there in the top, I don't know what side that is, top right or top left for you. Anyway, I'm right back here. My parents were in the States, obviously, and they flew us down to Saddam Hussein's palace in Tikrit. And because of the Sullivan brothers, the famous Sullivan brothers that all died, I think it was on a Navy, right? They were attacked on a Navy ship and they all died. So when they flew us to Tikrit, so because we were in northern Iraq up by Kirkuk, and when they flew us to Tikrit, they actually put us in separate Black Hawk helicopters in case the helicopter went down. We didn't all die in one helicopter. Anyway, so I got to go inside of one of Saddam's palaces, and it was just so, you saw the tyranny of what this guy did, but by taking all the wealth for himself and for, everybody that follows him. And you saw this beautiful palace. A gorgeous building, just absolutely immaculate. And then we'd go on patrols in Hawija and all these other little villages and places. And there's feces in the streets, and there's urine running down the streets, and there's all this stuff happening. That is why you cannot give up the Second Amendment. Okay. That is why the right to keep and bear arms has to stay. And when you give the government a little bit, they take it a mile. So once you allow a little bit of infringement, they just keep taking and taking and taking. And so the only people that have guns that are left are the people in power, the government, or the criminals, who obviously don't care about either. And I've lived it. I've seen firsthand what real tyranny looks like. We use that word a lot here. And I think there are things that have been tyrannical, but I promise you have not seen what real tyranny looks like until you've been to a place like Iraq and you see how awful everything is. It's like, I wish everybody would go to Iraq for like a week, just so they could learn to appreciate our country a tad bit more. So no, we will 100% not be giving up our guns. That's not going to happen. So let's see. Some people saying they just barely missed the shooting. Oh, good. Hopefully, yeah, a lot of people bringing up other countries. Yeah. Some people say we should have require schools to teach gun safety. There is a program that's kind of what do you call it? Extracurricular class that schools can do, but they don't. I really wish they would honestly do that. Let's see. All right. How long have we been going here? It's almost been 2 hours. Holy cow. Okay. I think we're about going to wrap this up. Again, if I'm looking for a couple things, if somebody can send me a private message, number one, if you're watching on YouTube and you like Pro 2A Gun News, or even if you're not watching on YouTube now, you can go to Gun News Now and subscribe to the channel. If you're in Idaho and you want to help us protect the right to keep and bear arms, go to joinisa.com. Idaho is a target state that they would love to be able to flip, and so we need a lot more gun owners standing with us. If you know who the good guy is with a gun, please shoot that over to me in a private message or something. But I have not seen, I haven't seen that guy's name. I think he's okay. Our prayers go out to the two people in the chat. Their families have been, just devastated with this. And, the ones that are in the hospital, we're praying that they'll make a quick recovery. The suspect, again, there's a name floating around, but still no big accounts are mentioning this person's name. And so it looks like okay, somebody actually did an AI thing of the good guy with a gun. Interesting. But I would love to interview that guy or talk to him if he's okay, and he was the good guy with a gun. By the way, this side note, we have a lot of friends in the Spokane area. There are literally houses in Spokane that are on fire. Huge fire there. Golly, that's crazy. So anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm gonna, I think, sign off for now, and we'll probably do another live here again soon. But for those who don't know, my name is Greg with Gun News Now and the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and yeah, just glad to have an outlet here to talk about this. And again, maybe tomorrow, I might actually go to Twin Falls tomorrow. I told my wife I may need to go down to Twin and talk to some folks. So anyway.